Hello everyone! Thank you for tuning in to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. Today, we are going to discuss the lifespan of filter media and the best timing to replace them. We've actually received a lot of questions from our YouTube viewers regarding how long filter media usually lasts, as well as how to notice when the right timing to change filter media is. So today, we will go through in detail on how to notice the signs of when you should change your filter media as well as its general lifespan. Recently, there are a variety of filter media available on the internet, such as ones that are ring-shaped with a hole in the middle, as well as ones that are made of glass, ceramic, pumice stone, and more. To start with the conclusion of the first question, there is definitely a limit to the lifespan of any filter media. This is easiest to understand when you take a close look at the surface of the filter media, where you'll notice that the surface is bumpy. This is intentionally done, and there are numerous tiny holes on the surfaces. What happens is that when your water continues to flow through these tiny holes, they tend to also bring small pieces of dirt, fish food, and other substances with them, which causes the holes to eventually be jammed up, and the bumpy surfaces end up becoming smooth. That's a bit extreme, but if the holes are jammed with dirt, the good bacteria that are supposed to house inside the holes and create a flow of filtering the water that passes through the holes cannot find a place to live, and the amount of space available for them gradually decreases over time. This decreases the amount of water that each media can filter, which causes the overall quality of the water to decrease, as well as other forms of inconvenience. Thus, it is important to keep in mind that any type of filter media has a lifespan, and they will become unusable at a certain point in time. This may bring up some questions from experienced people who have enjoyed their aquarium or layout for over several years, because I know that there are a lot of people who have been using the same filter media for over 5 or 6 years, and their water quality is absolutely fine. Those people may ask, so what exactly is the lifespan of these filters, because mine are doing just fine for over 5 years? To answer this question, layouts that have sustained their water quality for years are not only relying just on external filters. The various types of good bacteria that clean up your water do not only live inside the filter media, but gradually expand their habitats throughout the entire aquarium, especially throughout the soil and bottom floor area where there is a lot of interaction with oxygen. Thus, aquariums that have sustained a high level of water quality for years are able to do so with the help of these bacteria that have developed over time, even after their filter media are not doing their job anymore. I actually had the same question a while ago and decided to do an experiment. At that time, I had built out an aquarium over several years where the water quality was very high and would not budge with a bit of dirt, and I also obviously had external filters placed. What I did was I took out the inside of the external filters and washed the hell out of it with tap water, which includes a lot of chlorine, and I left zero space for any bacteria to remain on the filter. In theory, the filter media would have zero bacteria to properly clean the water as it did before, so the water quality should go down a bit and could even affect the fishes and shrimp that live inside the aquarium. However, the water quality did not change at all whatsoever. This experiment sort of proved my theory that the good cleaning bacteria eventually live beyond just inside of your filters and expand throughout the aquarium. So by the time I started this experiment, the internal flow of maintaining a high quality inside my aquarium was already set in stone, and it almost did not matter whether or not my filter media was still healthy or not. Thus, the conclusion of the first question is that if your water quality is stable, you won't notice that your filter media have expired. However, technically, there are expiring dates for every filter media. Next, moving on to the actual topic of this video. Even if you now know that filter media expires, when is the right time to change them? I get this question pretty often, but first of all, if your water quality is good and you are not having any trouble with algae, oil films, and so on, you do not need to replace your filter media no matter how long you've used them. This goes for other components that you may have learned to change once in a while, but if your aquarium is in good shape and is sustaining a good flow and quality, it's best to not change anything while it's doing so. This is actually very important, but do not change anything when it's doing well, simply put, right? I also do understand the feeling of being a bit worried when you leave your aquarium as it is for a while, but please refrain from doing so if there are no problems with your aquarium. I've spoken to a lot of veterans in the aquarium scene, but they have also said the exact same thing. So now, what exactly are the signs that appear when you should change your filters? There are two main signs that I can think of. The first is if oil films appear on the surface no matter how many prevention methods you attempt. The second sign is if algae do not stop appearing no matter how many prevention methods you implement. If either one of the 2 points are traits of your aquarium, and your water quality is just not getting better no matter what you do, it may be good to take a look into replacing your filter media. The reason why I said look into is because even if these 2 points correspond with your aquarium, there is still a chance that the cause may not be your filter media. So, if the 2 points mentioned previously are spot on with the condition of your aquarium, try taking a look at one of the canisters and opening the inside. If it's dirty with dirt and other powdery material, cleaning it with water could solve this issue. Of course, as mentioned earlier, you should definitely not clean it with tap water, so make sure to use the water that is already inside your tank. I've created detailed videos on how to clean out your canisters in the past, so please take a look from the description below. However, if you are already cleaning your canisters on a consistent basis, or there seems to be no dirt or other substances on your canisters, the next place to look at is its color. Canisters and other filter media gradually start to turn brown or to a kind of caramel color, and they darken over time. Especially for water aquariums that use liquid fertilizers, or if your layout has reddish water plants that produce iron nutrients. These iron nutrients scientifically have a tendency of latching onto the holes of the filter media and can clog the close over time. So if you do have a flow of iron nutrients due to the type of water plants inside your aquarium, there's a chance that you would need to replace your canisters or filter media on a more frequent basis than other cases. In terms of the color change, if you open up your filter media and you see that your canisters are a caramelish color, you still may be fine. But if you see a more dark brown kind of burnt color, they are probably not doing their job anymore. so I would try to change them straight away. Of course, depending on the type of water plants inside your aquarium, you will not see any obvious color change. So the next point to keep in mind is how long you've been using the same filter media for. For example, if you've only been using them for a year, then your filter media should be fine, and there probably are other reasons and causes for the oil films and other trouble. On the other hand, if it has been over a year and a half or even 2 years or more, there is a good chance that changing your filter media could solve these issues. So I would go ahead and do so and check if the water quality rises after that. So we just discussed points to watch for to see if the filter media is the cause of any deterioration in your water quality. My conclusion is that I would look at your filter media as the last potential cause only after I've eliminated all of the other causes and tested all other prevention methods that you can think of. Filter media and external filters are very sensitive, and if you don't have to, you shouldn't touch them or replace them as much as possible. Of course, I have seen multiple cases where I did suggest changing the filter media to customers who are having trouble and cannot solve water quality issues after trying all prevention methods that they could think of, and that solved the issue right away. So it is definitely an effective solution to replace your filter media if that is actually the cause. However, still there are various possibilities on what could be having a negative effect on your water quality, so I would try to be 100% sure by checking all of the other components before deciding to change the filter media. Long story short, keep this method as your last resort. Now, moving on to 2 points to watch out for when changing your filter media. The first point is to not change all of your filter media at once, and the second point is to not change them when building a brand new layout. The first point may ring a bell to a lot of you, but if you change all of your filter media at once, there will be zero bacteria inside your aquarium, and your water can become very volatile. It could be safe for aquariums that have been built for a long time and the water is stable, like we mentioned earlier, but either way, it would be best to start with changing half or a third of your filters first and allow the bacteria to reproduce and the water to gradually stabilize. The second point is to not entirely change your filter media when starting a new layout. Of course, if this is your first aquarium, you don't really have a choice but to lay out new filter media, but if this is your second or third aquarium and you have external filters that you have been using inside your previous aquarium, it would be strongly recommended to use those filter media rather than laying out brand new ones. The reasoning behind this is the same as the previous point, and we would like to keep the existing bacteria inside your filter media as much as possible to maintain a stable, high water quality, rather than going through the process of waiting for the bacteria to reproduce while the water quality is unstable. If by any chance your water quality in your previous aquarium was not good, and your filter media had most likely expired, then it would obviously be better to start from scratch. So for example, you could insert the old filter media and then gradually change them 1/3 at a time after a month or two after you complete your new layout. One thing to note is the lifespan of filter media can also depend on the material that it is made out of. As explained in the beginning of this video, filter media can be composed of various materials such as ceramic, glass, light stones, which all fit within the explanations that we made today. But if by any chance your filter media is made from carbon or coal, these have a set lifespan of a month or two, and it is best to abide by what is written on the product information. Carbon filter media have a limit to its filtering function, so once that limit is reached, you can either keep them inside your aquarium for aesthetic purposes, but you need to either add additional carbon filters or change them to normal ceramic or glass filters. Also, sponge filters also gradually deteriorate over time, so if they become hard or the inside is clogged with dirt, there's not much you can do but to change or replace them. So today we discussed filter media and external filters in detail. The important point that I wanted to make as a conclusion is that filters are extremely important. They're almost important as the heart is to the human body. The condition of your filter media can either make or break the water quality of your aquarium, so it is essential to properly implement the correct maintenance procedures when changing or replacing them. In terms of the various types of filter media and the differences between each one, I will leave links in the description below so that you can go through them in detail. If you have any additional questions or comments regarding any of the content that we discussed today, please feel free to write them in the comment section below. Although we may not be able to answer each question individually, we will create additional content based on the popular questions we receive. If you found today's video helpful, please leave a comment, like, and make sure to subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. We will continue to create helpful content for aquarium lovers, so your continuous support would be very much appreciated. That's it for today. Thank you.